Alright, Outlaw Radio Live fans, you already know what time it is. We have none other than the legendary, Grammy Award winning, multi-platinum. We got none other than Michael Keith of 112 on the line. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I am doing great, man. I'm doing great. I first and foremost want to say, man, this is an absolute honor to be able to have you on my radio station. You are such a talented individual and most definitely one of my favorites.
Hey, man, thank you, man. The pleasure's all on this side, brother.
So I have to ask you, Mike, what made you decide to get into the music industry from the beginning?
Oh, the money? No, I'm just kidding. Look, man, I knew that this was the best. This was the thing that I did best. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt natural. Like, I believe, we all have some natural ability, and whether you capitalize on it, that's totally up to you. But for me, I feel like the Most High gave everybody a gift, right? And I felt like the gift that was the most prevalent and the one that just, shouted out to me the most was singing, man. And I just enjoyed doing it, and I wanted to be successful at it, man. I watched Michael Jackson growing up. I watched Jodeci. I watched Boyz II Men. I watched, the Lions, Commissioned, and I was just watching all these artists, and I'm like, bro, I can do what they do, and so I wanted to just get out there, man, and just sing, man. Like I honestly, outside of that, I really didn't have a plan. It was just really, go out there, sing, make some millions, and be, and just be able to sing, man. So it wasn't really a plan with that, man. It was like, that was it.
And back then, a lot of individuals loved listening to Michael Jackson and whatnot, man. He was such a phenomenon back in the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely, man. As a matter of fact, I'm named because of Michael Jackson. Like, my mother named me because of Michael Jackson. So, bless her because she had the foresight to know that her son was going to be in the music business as well. But, she named me because of her, her love and her fandom for Michael Jackson.
And as we all know, you are a member of the multi-platinum Grammy award-winning group 112. I have to ask you, can you tell us the story behind that group and how did you all meet? Like, what's the story behind that formation?
Well, we all went to the same high school. We went to all to the same middle school and same high school. And we just sounded better than everybody else. Now, we were in chorus class together, and we just understood each other. The vocabulary that we had was a lot better, than everybody else in the room, and we knew that, and we just meshed well. And so that's pretty much how we got started. It was really like the music teacher had challenged us to do a talent show. So we were picking at everybody in the classroom and saying that they couldn't sing, and we were laughing when they tried to sing or whatever. She said, "Okay, since y'all so good, you guys get together and you're going to perform at this talent show." And we didn't want to do it at all, but once she told us that our grades were reflective of that, we quickly changed our minds, and we sang intro rendition of "Living in the Sky." You want it? Intro did a rendition of it. It was pretty cool at the time. We were like, we're going, what the hell, we'll do that. And we did that, and the reaction that the crowd, gave us at school was just, it was addictive, man. You know what I mean? It's like once we got a taste of that, it was like, like we got to keep doing this. So that's what pretty much started the group.
And that's really extraordinary, you guys actually met in high school, and you guys are still going after all these years as well, man. And whoever says real friendship isn't a real thing, man, because you guys have been solid for years.
Yeah, man, it's something about, just knowing a person, for 30 years, it's crazy.
It most definitely goes from a friendship into more of a brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask you, so when you guys blew up, you were one of Bad Boy Records' very first R&B groups. I have to ask you, how did that record deal with Puff Daddy come to be for you guys?
How did it come to be? Well, he was in and out of Atlanta, around that time, and actually he had just finished directing the video for Outlaw, the Southern Playlist. Cadillac Music. So, he was in Atlanta. He understood that the sound was coming out was different. It was new. It was fresh, and he wanted in. You know what I mean? So we were presented to him, and initially he kind of wasn't really sure. I don't want to say he turned it down, but he wasn't really sure what he was going to do. With us, and it actually took Faith Evans and Usher and Kim Porter to actually convince him to sign 112. So I believe his reluctance was more so about the fact that he was more inclined in the hip hop rather than R&B, and so it was kind of hard trying to figure out what he was going to do with us. But he didn't want us to pass because, like I said, Faith Evans and Usher, they co-signed, and Kim Porter, she co-signed as well, and from that point, he signed us, and the rest is history.
And also, one of my favorite songs that you guys did with Bad Boy recording artist Biggie Smalls is Sky's the Limit. And I have to ask you this one, Michael, because this song holds such a special place with me. What was it like recording that song with Biggie Smalls, and what was it like being in the studio just working on that beautiful song?
Man, just being in Big's presence is just an honor and a privilege, you know what I mean? Because I've always said that I wanted to be around genius, but I never really knew it what that meant until I got around Big, you know what I mean? Because dude was really a lyrical genius. He never wrote anything down. It was just all in his head. He was creating these stories as people were talking and having conversations and, interacting with each other, fellowshipping with each other and whatnot, man. So, it just manifested into something just really beautiful, man. And actually, Sky's the Limit is one of my favorite records, if not my favorite record of Big. And it's not even because, somebody else could have sung the hook on it, but it's just the message that happened behind it. You know what I mean? And what he was saying and how, at first he came up with nothing, something, and it was just an amazing ride, man, to just be in the presence and in the room with that dude, man. It was just, I don't know, it was just really amazing, man. So, I could go on and on about it, but the truth of the matter is, man, the simplicity of it is that was just one of his greatest records to me, in my opinion.
And I have to say, when that song really helped me through a lot of difficult times in my life when one of my friends passed away. So that song is, I do want to say, just for you guys making that song, thank you, man, because I can tell you for a matter of fact that song not only saved my life, but a lot more other individuals in this world as well. So thank you so much.
Anytime, brother, anytime, and I'll give you a little story, man. Like we all on tour for the Bad Boy tour, not the last one, but the first one that we did 20 years ago, and they had shot the video for Sky's the Limit, and of course Big was gone at this point, so we wanted to still highlight and do a video, and that's where the whole concept of them being kids, doing all that stuff, or whatever, man. So there wasn't a dry eye in the room, man, when we debuted the video. And I hadn't seen it for the first time, man, and I'm not even a real, emotional person, man. Well, I don't really show emotion like that, man. But I tell you, man, there wasn't a dry eye in the room when we saw that video because everybody started reflecting on, what Big meant to everybody, and then they saw the video, Boston Riots on here, and that we saw, with us, and it was pretty cool, man. It was bittersweet, because we really wished that, Big was here, and but at the same time, it was a beautiful record, almost ominous, but it was just, a beautiful record.
And I can most definitely tell you, he most definitely was there in spirit for that one, man. You know what I mean? I don't think he would have missed one of his own music videos.
Yeah, man, he was there in spirit. I like that.
And I do want to ask one last thing before we move away from the Bad Boy Records topic. Another song you did was I'll Be Missing You. And as we all know, that's a tribute to the late, great, notorious B.I.G. I have to ask you, when you guys did that song, was it really difficult actually making that tribute song, or did it all just come naturally to you guys?
It came natural because at that point, man, we had, everybody had really said goodbye to Big at that point. So it was a little easier to make the record, and after we had mourned, and it was like trying to move on. You know what I mean? So that record actually was a catharsis for a lot of us. You know what I mean? It really was a release, and because we had so much energy bottled up on the inside. You know what I mean? And we wanted to, we needed a release, and that record fulfilled that for us. So we were very, again, it was bittersweet. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful record. We were glad that we did it, but at the same time, we also understood what it represented, which was our homeboy ain't here no more. So it was hard, but at the same time, it wasn't as hard as it could have been had we had tried to do that record right after he died. You know what I mean? It was a little time that had gone by. Everybody had mourned. We were still mourning, but at the same time, we had made peace with the fact that he's gone on to glory, and he's in a better place. So it was hard, but it could have been harder.
And I do want to say, rest in paradise to the late great Biggie Smalls.
Absolutely, rest in paradise, bro.
So, in the year 97, the same year as I'll Be Missing You dropped, you, along with 112, received a Grammy Award for your performance with Puff Daddy and Faith Evans on the song I'll Be Missing You, and you won a Grammy as well for Peaches and Cream. I have to ask you, how does it feel knowing that you guys won not one but 2 Grammy Awards pretty much in the same year? How does it feel to actually be up there accepting those awards?
I got it. I wish that were true, bro, but I got to correct you on that. We won one for I'll Be Missing You, and we got nominated for Peaches and Cream, so we didn't win that one, but we really wish we would have, man. But I wish in a better world, that we had won too, man. That would have been awesome. But just to win one, man, that's our Super Bowl. That's our world championship. Like how the Raptors won, the championship. Like, that feeling that that y'all got up there, in Canada right now, man. Like that's kind of how we feel, with that Grammy, man. That's our Super Bowl. So anytime you can get your hand on one, man, and I tell you, I thought that it was just, it was cool to have one, put it on your mantle, at your house or whatever, and just to say, look, hey kid, when your dad was, a lot younger, he was actually somebody, but man, it's a lot of doors open up when people realize that you are a Grammy Award winner. You know what I mean? And I treasure that. That's one of my fondest memories, and that's one of my greatest treasures that I have. And one of the greatest mementos. One of the greatest, just to say that you're a Grammy Award winner, man, that's amazing.
And the one thing I have to ask, because I've always wondered this, even with other individuals as well, when a group wins a Grammy, and they get presented with like one trophy, like on TV. When you get backstage, do you guys all get your own like trophy, or do you guys have to share one?
Yes, sir, we get our own. Everybody got their individual. Faith got hers, Puff got his, and the 4 of us got ours. So, yeah. It's all considered one award. If one win, you won one, but at the same time, you get your individual one.
Well, that's good. At least you guys don't have to fight over it,
Yeah, man. No fight, man. No fight. I would have won anyway, but.
And I also saw on Instagram that you actually received another award for an outstanding performance from G Squared Events. Can you tell us a bit more about that award, and what was that actually like accepting that particular award?
That was cool, man, because I honestly feel like they did not anticipate what transpired on that tour, which was the experience, which was us and Jagged Edge forming a super group, if you will, and we're performing each other's songs. We're on stage with each other, singing with each other, and the whole gist of it was just, a brilliant idea. And we came together and we got with Jagged and said, hey, look, guys, we want to go on this tour, and instead of us doing our set and you guys doing y'all set and that, we want to do something revolutionary. We want to do something that nobody else has ever done, with the exception of the Four Tops and the Temptations, and that was only like one. And we wanted to shake up the world. We wanted to shake up the R&B world. And once we did that, they had no choice but to let us go on before Teddy Riley and that was an honor in and of itself to just be, you know, really looked at as that upper echelon group that can stand with, Guy and Teddy Riley and things of that nature, man. So it was really cool. It was a really great feeling, and it surprised the hell out of me, man. Like when they gave us the award, I was really surprised, bro. Like I wasn't anticipating nothing like that, man. So the Grammy, I kind of knew it was gonna happen. It just felt like it was gonna happen. But when they presented us with that, it was just like it's the little things, man. It's like you would think that I've been around the world, seen a whole lot of things, and stuff like that really doesn't get to me or whatever, man. But that really was like one of the greatest moments, man. It was like I did not see that coming.
And when you like with the Grammy, when that type of thing, it's almost like if you know what's gonna happen, you're gonna brace yourself, right? But if you get caught off guard with something like that, that must have been such an amazing feeling just for you, man.
Yeah, man, it was awesome, bro. Just the fact that they thought enough about us to do that and let them know like yeah, we made a lot of money together, and the tour was successful and all of that, man. But for them to take out the time to present us with awards and just let us know like, hey, you guys went above and beyond the Call of Duty, man. Again, that was something that I didn't anticipate, and it came out of left field, and I was really just surprised but happy at the same time.
And also, you released two songs, "She's My Superstar" and "Sexy" under the alias Dangerous. I have to ask you, what made you decide to release those songs under a different name?
Well, the superstar, that's another thing to it. You really own yourself, man. The superstar record that's not me. Like somebody on YouTube put that on that, man. That sounds like me, and I think it caught fire. But the sexy MF, that was definitely me. I in 112, I had a role to play, and it was just like the '90s Bulls. Everybody had their own position that they had to play. Jordan's, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. Everybody had their own position that they had to play. So with that being said, I had to play the position that was assigned to me in 112, and that doesn't really allow for you to be, who you are. A lot of times, with being in a group, you have to sacrifice in order to get for the bigger goal, right? So I had to sacrifice a lot of who I was as an artist in order to make that happen. So I felt like, just like everybody else felt like, we wanted a voice outside of the group because we had done the group for so many years that I wanted to, go up, branch out, and still underneath the 112 umbrella, but at the same time, let other people know that there was another side to me as well. And Dangerous was just something that it was a nickname that just came out of nowhere. Like some people just based off of my persona and who I, how I live life. It was just, bro, we're gonna call you Dangerous, bro. It was just the way I sung, just the way I just did anything. It was just, one of the guys on the road, he just kept calling me Dangerous, and it just started sticking. So I was like, you know what, man? I'm gonna go with Dangerous. That's gonna be my other alias. Like kind of like how Mark Brooks, he was Chris Gaines, or that whole thing with him. And so I was like, I can do that, because I was unsure whether or not the fan base was going to accept Michael Keith as anything else but a member of 112. So coming out with the alias and trying to do all that, man, that was something. I guess it was an idea. Try to do something and see what happens, and I enjoyed it.
I have to ask, in the future, do you ever think you'd ever release anything else under that alias, or you think you're just going to stick with Michael Clark this time?
I think I'm gonna stay with Michael Keith, man.
Michael Keith, sorry about that.
You did.
So, I also want to ask you this. I saw this on your Instagram, and I thought this was actually really interesting. I saw a picture of you, 112, and President Clinton, former President Clinton, I should say now. I have to ask you, what was it like actually being able to meet the president with 112?
Let me tell you something, man. I understand. Like I voted for Clinton twice, but I tell you what, man, it's nothing like being in a dude's presence. Like one of these presidents, man, like you can feel it. Like I see why he was the president. You know what I mean? Like his energy, he just made you feel like he knew you, and at the same time, it was something that to be revered. You know what I mean? It's like he made me feel like friend, but he was also one of the most powerful men on the planet. You know, so it was an amazing experience to take that picture with Clinton, man, and his speech that he gave prior to was incredible. We were at a church in Oakland, and he was there. It was a black church in Oakland, and he just delivered, bro. He just gave us this speech, and I was all the while I was just entranced in this message that this man was giving, and I see why he became president. I see why, man. Like to meet that dude, it was just an amazing experience, man. Again, I know I'm using that phrase a lot, but this whole ride has been really amazing for me. And if the good Lord was to take me tomorrow, man, I know, like, I just have to tell him, like, bro, I had one hell of a ride, man. So, it was just really cool to meet the president like that.
And not a lot of groups ever get the opportunity to actually meet the president, man. So he must definitely have saw something in you guys for you to be up there with the president at that current time, man. That's actually huge.
Well, he's a musician as well. You know what I mean? So, we all had the same language. Like a true musician knows another musician. It's like something about it, man. And it doesn't really matter, because I know he played jazz. It doesn't really matter if you're a musician. Like, there's certain words, there's certain phrases, there's certain notes that you hear, and everybody just perks up, and everybody's on that same page. And like, we heard that too. And I guarantee you that, when you had an opportunity to, just play some music or whatever, man, like, I think Clinton would have, enjoyed listening to, some of the stuff that we appreciate and grew up listening to.
And also, in 2008, you released your debut solo album called Michael Keith, which I have to say is a phenomenal album, by the way. And I have to know, what is the inspiration behind that amazing record?
Oh man, I was engaged. I was engaged, and that whole album was about that girl. You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing else to it. Like I said, I was engaged, and she broke off the engagement. I know, sad story, right? But it made for one hell of a an album. You know what I mean? So I had to be vulnerable and open up myself, and that's when the music just started flowing, because I had all these energies that were pent up inside, and I didn't know how to get it out other than through music. And I had just started recording, and there was no idea for me to put an album together. Like, I had no intent on putting an album together or nothing like that initially. I just wanted to create some music to get it out of my system. And the more records I did, people were like, "Yo, you need to put an album. You need to put this together and create an album and put it out." And I did it with some success, and I'm really proud of the work, man, because at the end of the day, it wasn't really to do anything but to again be a catharsis for me, and a release, and just try to get those emotions out, because that was hard. It's really hard to deal with the fact that a woman that I wanted to put a ring on, finger on the ring on the finger, like, how she was able to just give that up, and I just like, that hurt. You know what I mean? So I gotta let it out. That was the reason for that album.
Well, I'm going to say this, man. You're a very talented individual, and I bet you she's kicking herself in the ass for that one after all this, because, you've done, even outside of the music industry, man, you're a very amazing individual. So she most definitely, I can tell you, regret it, but you know what, man? It is what it is, right?
All right, man. I hope she is kicking herself.
But I also saw on Instagram as well that this is actually really cool, because I actually did not know this until I actually did the research for the interview. But I saw on your Instagram that you have your own cigar company called MK12. Can you tell us a bit more about that company, and also where can our listeners actually buy some of your cigars?
Well, here's the thing. The MK12 was e-cigars, but we've since moved on to the CBD. So it's going through a process of I don't know how to the technical word for it, but it's a transition that we're going into. The CBD is where it's at now. It's becoming legal in the states here, so it's just only a matter of time before The weed is really legal, pretty much everywhere in the states and stuff now. But the CBD is legal now, so we wanted to jump on that as soon as we possibly could. So I made the transition from the e-cigars to the CBD oil. So we're in a position of doing that right now. But as soon as we get everything up and running, I can let you know, through Instagram, or I can hit you, personally, and just let you know, man, like what's going on with that, because it was really awesome to have my own e-cigars, but I wanted to go. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be bigger and wanted to be better. And I wanted to be profitable with what we're doing and stuff, man. And that's CBD right now.
And I do want to say, I think that is also the best route to go as well, because even with cigarettes, you know what I mean? Everyone's like, you don't really hear much about cigarettes, cigars. You always hear about CBD and marijuana. So I think that's a great route to go, Unfortunately, sometimes you got to go with the times, and I really do think, you guys are going to make a killing off that.
Yeah, man, it's all about, supply and demand, man. Basically, if the market suggests that you go e-cigars until they tell you CBD. Then you go on the CBD, and then, if they tell you to go somewhere else, the next best thing, then you go there. One thing that I learned more than anything about being in the music business, but in business, period, is just be fluid, and be able to adapt and adjust with, your surroundings and stuff, man. So, in 1 minute it's e-cigars, it may go back to e-cigars, but right now CBD is where it's at. And, that's where we're going.
And also in 2014, you received another award as well, called a Salute to You Award for being a lupus activist. I have to ask you, can you tell us a bit more about that award and where our listeners can become involved with that particular organization?
Oh, okay. So to give you a little background on that, my mother suffers from lupus. She's had it for about 15 years now, and she allowed me to tell her story and be an advocate for the Lupus Foundation. So in order to get more involved, you will go to the Lupus Foundation, and you'll go from there. Like I was working in cahoots with them. So that is where, where I would suggest that a lot of, your fans and listeners, my fans and your listeners would go to, if they would donate, or if they want to be more active into it. It's just the Lupus Foundation, I find, was the one that pretty much had everything that I was looking for, as far as a place where I could advocate for lupus as much as I possibly could. So yeah, the Lupus Foundation, it was something that it was near and dear to my heart. I wanted to let the world know, and use my platform to let the world know how this autoimmune disease is wreaking havoc, and we have to find a cure for it. Because people like my mother, who's a blessing to me, are suffering, and you gotta, you don't want to see your loved ones suffer. You know what I mean? And I know she fights a good fight, and people that have lupus don't want you to feel sorry for them. They want you to treat them like anybody else, and they want you to do everything that you can to help us find a cure. So again, Lupus Foundation. You want to contribute, you want to donate, you want to contribute your time, and the Lupus Foundation is where it's at.
And also, a year after that, you were in a film, Closet Space the movie. I have to ask you, what was that experience like, and was it a difficult transition going from, like, the music industry into the film industry?
It's crazy, man. It's a whole different world, because when we do music videos, they tell you to look in the camera, but in movies, they want you to pretend like the camera is not even in the room. So it's a crazy juxtaposition to it's not even a juxtaposition. That's the wrong word. It's a 180. It's definitely a 180. To for 20 years, look at the camera, make love to the camera. The camera's your girlfriend, and then you get into the movies, and it's like, don't look at the camera, don't look at us, act like we're not here. But I had fun. I enjoyed it. It's I don't know how they do. I see why they make the big money, man. Because for me, acting is so nerve wracking. Do I have the ability to do it? Do I have the job? Yeah, absolutely, I could do it. but it's just so nerve wracking to me, man. And versus singing, where it just that comes natural to me. And I thought it was something that I wanted to do, but when I moved out to LA for a little while, man, but the music just called me even more. So I just went back to the music, man. That was where I was most comfortable, and being an actor, you have to be uncomfortable, and I wasn't really willing to do that at the time. Would I be able to do it now? I think I'm more mature, and I think I have a better understanding of what it takes to be an actor, and I would definitely have to do some more um, studying and things of this nature and learn techniques. But I think that if somebody gave me an opportunity, especially in Atlanta, like say for example, if I went out and audition for The Walking Dead or something like that, you know what I mean? Like that'd be awesome, bro. Like that would be the illest thing I could put on my resume. Like right up with there with being in 112, like just to be in one episode. Like I know they all die, the next episode or whatnot, man. But that just to have that on my resume, man, would be awesome.
And before we move off the topic of film, lately a lot of groups and a lot of artists have been getting biopics. Do you think that's something actually in the future for 112, getting a 112 biopic? Because I think that would be great.
Yeah, it's somewhere down the line, man. But I honestly feel like our story isn't really written yet, so I don't know how we would end it. You know what I mean? Like we got a beginning, we got a middle, but I just don't know where it would how we would end it. You know what I mean? So um, while I would welcome a biopic somewhere down the line, I honestly don't feel like now is the time for that.
I agree with that because you guys are still going strong as well, and this actually leads into one of my last questions of the interview, man. When I was interviewing Slim last week, he brought up how he was in the studio with you guys, and I also saw the video as well. You guys are putting in some mad work. I have to ask you guys, what can our listeners expect from this brand new 112 album that's coming out, and also, do you guys have an estimated release date of that record?
What you may expect from this new record, man, it's gonna be a lot of hard hitting hip hop. We got to go back to our roots. We got to go back to where it all began for us because 112 was the innovators of hip hop and R&B. Like before us, there wasn't really any R&B groups that were doing up tempo records successfully. And 112 came in and we changed that whole narrative. But we wanted to get back. Slim and I, talked about it. We definitely wanted to get back to our hip hop roots. So the beats are going to be more hard hitting. It's going to be more of what you hear nowadays. So, but it's going to be a more updated version of 112. And the vocals will still be there, but the actual music is going to sound a little bit harder. And to answer your second question, we're looking at like the end of May, the beginning of June to release the EP. So we're really excited about it. Like the music we've been coming up with, man, is on a whole nother level. We actually have studio tomorrow, and we're really excited. We're ready to rock and roll.
Oh, it actually sounds like it's going to be an amazing record, and you got a record sale right here. Whenever it drops, I'm following you guys on Instagram, so whenever it drops, I'm going to be picking up a copy of that record because you can't have a music collection without more 112 in it. It will just be a crime.
I agree, brother.
So I have to ask you, Michael, what's next for you? Other than the new 112 record, is there anything else you want to promote? We still have you here on this radio station.
Um, That's me for me, man. Like I'm just really here, man. I'm really, just trying to figure out what's going on, man. Like I said, the acting is something that's been, been available to me, man. So I wanna make sure that if I do it, then I do it right, man. Because I know that there's other actors out there. Not saying that I, would just take a spot from them, or whatever, man. But I just want to make sure that I'm giving it the same amount of respect that I would the music industry, because I would definitely feel some kind of way if an actor came to the music industry and just felt like, okay, because I can sing in the shower, I can go put out this Grammy Award winning album and stuff, and I could definitely feel some kind of way. So I would, I want to make sure that I put my time in and just get that squared away and whatnot, man. So acting is definitely something that I want to do. More television. I want to get more involved in television, and that's pretty much it, man. Continue being Michael Q and getting out here, man, on the stage and kicking some ass.
Hey man, that's the best way to do it. So after this is the time of the interview, Michael, that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the platform, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, and of course your social media handles. Is that way our listeners can give you and the legendary 112 a follow if they're not already doing so.
Gotcha. Well, I want to shout out everybody, all of your followers that's on the radio station, all of my followers that's on Instagram. You can follow me at Michael Keith of 112, or you can follow the official 112 on Instagram for all our information, man. I want to just shout out, I just want to shout out you guys, man, for being so awesome, because without you guys, it would not be a 112, and after 25 years, we're still here. We're still out here doing what we do, man, and it's been one heck of a ride, and I'm just really glad to still be in it and of it, and you guys are still receptive of having us and whatnot, man. So again, I want to shout out to all your listeners, and it's been an awesome ride, brother.
And I do want to say, Michael, first and foremost, thank you so much for years of amazing music. Because like I told you personally, just via message, that your guys' music really did have such a positive impact on my life, man. I can't count how many times your music actually saved my life, man, with your music substance. And I do want to say, you know what I mean? I want to say this publicly. When I messed up your name, I want to say my apologies because that was a dumb part on me. I was really nervous during this interview because of the influence that you guys had on me. So I want to say my apologies on that, man. And thank you so much for gracing my platform because it is such an honor for me.
Oh, brother, listen, man, we all make them, bro. Don't even worry about it, man. So, again, thank you so much, man. Make sure that everybody's out. I want to say again, please make sure everybody's out here being safe. The music touring and all that stuff is going to come back around. We just got to do what we can to social distance and make sure that, your loved ones are safe. You know what I mean? So, again, I want to just make sure that everybody understands. Please take it seriously out here. And I love you guys, man, and it's awesome. Everything's awesome.
I want to say again, thank you so much, and most definitely you and your family and all the rest of 112 stay safe out there as well. And I'm looking forward to that brand new EP when it drops.
Yes, sir. You'll be the first one to know.
Thank you so much. You have yourself a wonderful night, Michael.
All right. Thank you, brother.